Hey everybody, it's Wednesday, January 27th, 2021. Thank you for joining me. We've got a lot to discuss today. We're going to talk about Gamestop. We're going to talk about the continuing housing crisis. Now, some of you gave me a thumbs down in my last video because I thought that home prices were not going to come down in 2021. But at the end, what did I say? I said unless there's a major black swan event or a major financial restructuring, and I do see that happening in the year 2021. Now, without something major happening, no, I don't think there's going to be a price correction because you have to rein in the banking system before you can bring prices back down, before the bubble is allowed to burst. Think back to 2008. That was a financial crisis. We saw Lehman Brothers fail. We saw banks scrambling and basically panicking, and they really pulled back on the lending because at that time they were not sure, they were not clear that there was going to be unlimited propping, unlimited bailouts, unlimited liquidity injections. At that time they were unsure, so they pulled back on the lending. If you don't remember, it was very, very difficult to get a mortgage 2009, 2010, 2011. And then as home prices started getting higher and higher, they had to prop up the banks more, ease back on the lending requirements, deregulation, all the way up to 2020 when the banks got released from the reserve requirement. Right, you saw what happened. So something similar would have to happen this time. There would have to be a major restructuring of the banks or the financial system. There would have to be something that impacts lending. All right, and you can think of many things that would cause lending to be restricted. One is you could put the reserve requirement back. So banks would have to have money in reserves before they can lend, and that would really take the mortgage market would take a really big hit if that were to happen, because without lending, these prices cannot continue to rise. All right, so those of you that were disappointed, hold your horses, because I think we're still going to see some major things happen this year and big events that could really impact the markets, including the real estate market. All right, let's talk about the mortgage situation. We have 2.7 million people postponing their mortgage payments. This is not good. This is not good at all. If you go back to pre-pandemic, it was between 300,000 and 400,000. So I ask you again, where is the recovery? Yes, it did surge almost up to 5 million at one point, but anyone saying that this is a complete recovery is missing the chart here, is missing the picture, because we're still, what is it, from about 300,000 to 400,000 to almost 3 million. We're still, what, 1,000% higher than we were on these delinquencies before, since compared to before the shutdown. How are these people, 2.7 million people, going to be able to catch up on their mortgage payments? The answer is they're not. They're not going to be able to unless you see major restructuring, some sort of massive debt forgiveness. All right, this would have to take debt forgiveness on an epic scale. But then again, if the underlying issues are not addressed, prices will still stay high. So forgiving the debt may help the homeowners for a short period of time, but I'm thinking that these people are so far behind, even if they did get their for debt given, the property taxes, the utilities, the insurance, and just the overall cost of living is still going to be too much for a lot of these people to handle. Also rents, we talked about this in our last video, the housing update. 20% of renters in America are behind on their payments, and many of these people are months and months behind. So handing out a stimulus check is not going to be enough, not even close. The typical delinquent renter now owes $5,600, being nearly 4 months behind on their rent payment, according to a new analysis. In total, this is an astounding $57 billion owed by more than 10 million renters. All right, also, eviction is a serious possibility. So even with all the moratoriums, the restrictions, and the banning of evictions, people are still, they're slipping through the cracks. Landlords are still finding ways to get people out. A big part of it is people do not even know that there's restrictions on evicting people. They don't know their rights. But the people that just stay and squat, they will be able to stay longer. And eventually you're going to be forcibly removed by a U.S. Marshal or a sheriff. There's even private eviction teams now that are being put together to help get people out of their homes. As crazy as it sounds, it's true. We reported on that here a few weeks ago. Right? Private companies are joining law enforcement to help pull people out of their homes. All right, in this late rent situation, 18% of renters in America, so 1 in 5 people, think about that, 1 in 5 people are behind on their rent, yet we're not really seeing rents adjust. Prices are not declining. Home prices are not declining. Why? Because of the shenanigans, the propping up of the system. All right, we need to stop all this, and we need to allow the free market to correct, and then there will not be an affordability problem. The free market, it fixes all this. Now, I did an example, I think 2 or 3 reports ago, and I gave the example of the store, a fruit stand or a store, health food store, is selling blueberries. And a portion of the population gets them for free. And in that case, I used all males. All males, all men get the blueberries for free. But everyone else, all females, or people that don't identify as males, have to pay. So then because they gave out so many blueberries, the price skyrocketed because there was a shortage. So that meant the people that had to pay, the ones that didn't get the free handouts, they had to pay 2 times as much, 3 times as much, 4 times as much. And then I did see a comment that said, what about the poor people? What about the people that can't afford blueberries? Isn't it still good to hand out to those people? Well, no, because see, there wouldn't be people that couldn't afford blueberries if you had a free market. See, the price wouldn't skyrocket if it weren't for the artificial shortage that was created by the handouts and the inflation that was created by the handouts. Right? So when you create inflation, that creates more people who can't afford something. So then the calls increase for more handouts because there's so many people that can't afford it, instead of fixing the underlying issue that made prices too high in the first place. Right? So forgiving rent and allowing people not to be evicted, that's not going to fix the underlying issue of affordability. Sure, you can blame it on the job losses and the shutdowns, but things were falling apart way before March of last year, and most of you, I think, know that by now. Okay, so the housing market, if they keep it propped up, yes, it could continue. There could be even higher home prices in 2021. The question is, will the system continue as is, or are there big changes on the horizon? Okay, under the new administration, anything goes. I would not place a bet on everything continuing as normal. Let's just take a look at the stock market for an example. Today, the Dow Jones down 350 points plus. And look what's been happening since the new administration took over. And we'll just take a look at the Dow Jones in this example. Now, today's the 27th, so let's go back to the 20th, the day the new administration was implemented. And we saw it at about 31,200 on that day, and look what's happened since then. Right? And it's only been 7 days, so this may not be the start of a larger trend, but things are starting off on a not so good foot. We're in a downtrend so far here since the new administration. Okay? Now, congratulations to those people that got into Gamestop at the beginning of the year. Now, you may remember at the beginning of the shutdown there in March, April 2020, we talked about a lot of these video game stocks and just how the at-home entertainment industry was going to be booming because of all the shutdowns and people being forced to stay at home, basically. And if you would have gotten in at under $20 in January, this thing has boomed. Shorts are being blown out of the water. Market makers are squeezing this stock. And it's a combination of people running into the stock and looking to make a profit, scalp trades, and also short covering. And this thing absolutely exploded. Now, yes, I did get a put option a ways back, and I did get an option that was 6 months out. Luckily, I may add to my position. I'll have to see. But these options are very, very expensive because now the stock price is so high. So I'm going to still hold my put option. I think eventually it's going to see a pullback, but this is absolutely insane. Congratulations to anyone that got in at $20 and that's still holding. The difficult part is when you buy a stock and you see it triple, it's very difficult not to sell or at least take some gains, right? So people that bought at $20, once it got up to $60, I'm thinking a lot of them, $40, $60. When you see a stock double and triple, the urgency or the impulse is to sell the stock and take profit. So it's rare that somebody would buy a stock at $20 and still hold all the way up to this point right now. We're above 310. But if you did, congratulations. That's what we have to do. We have to try to continue to find opportunities to try to survive and thrive in this crazy economic system. So it's going to be it for today, everybody. Thanks for watching. Stay well, stay safe, stay prepared. Bye for now. Peace.